the music box. When Sarah inherited her grandmother's estate in the quiet countryside of Maine, she had expected a modest house filled with dusty books, crocheted doilies, and faded photographs. What she hadn't expected was the music box. It was tucked away in the attic, an ornate antique piece made of dark mahogany, its surface etched with symbols she didn't recognize. A single ballerina stood inside, poised on one foot with her arms frozen in a delicate arc. Sarah found it inside an old wooden trunk beneath yellowing blankets and broken toys. She almost left it there, but something about it compelled her. Maybe it was the craftsmanship or the strange way it seemed untouched by dust. She brought it downstairs and set it on the mantel in the living room. That night, it played on its own. Sarah had been reading in bed when the tinkling melody drifted through the house, a soft, haunting lullaby that floated down the hall and seeped beneath her bedroom door. She thought maybe she had accidentally wound it. She tried to shake off the unease, but when she stepped into the living room, the lid was open. The ballerina was spinning slowly, arms still outstretched, her tiny porcelain face cracked ever so slightly. Sarah stood frozen. She hadn't wound it. The next morning, she packed the box back into the trunk and dragged it back up to the attic. Dust clung to her hands, and the old wooden floorboards creaked beneath her feet. She slammed the trunk shut with a finality that felt almost foolish, but it made her feel better until it returned. 3 days later, Sarah walked into the living room and found the music box sitting on the mantel again, as if it had never left. Her breath caught in her throat. She was alone in the house. No one else had a key. She hesitated before touching it. The ballerina was still. The box was closed. Everything looked normal, except it wasn't. Something about it felt wrong, like an animal that plays dead right before it strikes. That night, the music played again. This time, she didn't go downstairs. Sarah started to change after that. Her sleep became restless. She dreamt of spinning dancers with broken faces and shadows moving behind mirrors. She began hearing whispers in the walls, soft and unintelligible. At first she thought it was just the creaks and groans of an old house settling, but the sounds started forming words. Her name. Always her name. Sarah. Come dance. On the fourth night she bolted upright in bed. The music was louder now, the melody frantic and unsteady like a lullaby played backwards. She tiptoed down the stairs, clutching a flashlight in one hand and a kitchen knife in the other. The music box was open again. The ballerina was spinning too fast, as if invisible hands were furiously winding it. Then the lid slammed shut. Sarah screamed. She called a local historian, Dr. Malcolm Reed, hoping to learn more about the box. He visited the next day, inspecting the object with gloved hands and furrowed brows. "This isn't just antique," he muttered. "These symbols are European, possibly Romano. Very old. I've only seen one other item like this, and it was locked in a museum vault in Austria." He paused, then looked at her gravely. "There's a legend," he said, "about a music box made for a girl named Annalise in the late 1700s. She was a dancer, a prodigy, but she died during a performance when the stage collapsed. Her mother, stricken with grief, sought out a Romani witch to bind her daughter's spirit to the box so she could live forever." Sarah felt cold. "It's said the girl dances for eternity, but she's lonely," the historian added softly. "She lures others to dance with her." He refused to touch the box again. That night, Sarah locked her bedroom door and shoved a dresser in front of it. She clutched the knife to her chest and stared at the ceiling, listening for the first note of that cursed tune. But the house was silent until 3 in the morning. The music started faintly, then grew louder, clearer, as if the box were just outside her room. Click. The dresser creaked, the doorknob turned. She screamed and shoved a chair under the handle. Suddenly, the music stopped. A whisper slid beneath the door like a draft. "Come dance with me." The next morning, the box was inside her room, right beside her bed. The ballerina didn't move, but her head was turned slightly now, facing Sarah. She ran. She didn't pack, didn't grab her phone. She just fled the house, barefoot and shaking, down the gravel driveway to her car. She drove straight to a church and begged for help. A priest agreed to perform a cleansing ritual. When they returned to the house together, the music box was gone. In its place, on the mantel, was a note scrawled in perfect cursive. "You left me, but I'll find another." 3 months passed. Sarah never returned to the house. She moved to Boston, changed her phone number, and started therapy. She avoided antique shops, avoided music boxes, avoided the word dance entirely. But the nightmares continued, spinning, spinning, spinning. One day, while walking home from the train station, she passed by a vintage toy shop. In the display window, among teddy bears and tin soldiers, sat a small wooden box, dark mahogany, a single ballerina inside, cracked face, arms outstretched. She stopped breathing. The box began to open.